Alright, I decided to finally record this. I know my audio sucks, but I was working on an SCP project. Oops. Call it D-Class right now. Haven't done much. Opened up Unreal, loaded in a bunch of pre-made assets that I have off the marketplace. Why reinvent the wheel? And I'll get into incorporating some of that stuff maybe today. Right now, I am pulling these FBXs. Somebody was kind enough off of Make Human to provide me with, because I'm on a Mac and building old versions on your Mac and everything is kind of a pain. Okay, I don't know why that didn't load up. Nope. Oh wait, I'm exporting. Shit. Ah, man. Might have to go and download that real fast because I just... Yep, okay. That was my bad. He was kind enough to leave me with a FBX though online. We'll get to the forums right away. They should really make an HTTPS version. Okay, off topic. Where am I? Just view my post. Here we are. And I need the number 5. Is this it? I believe this is it. Yes. Okay. I want the pants off this real fast. Import FBX. This one. Let's select the pants. I don't like how it rotates. I'd prefer everything to be in the same thing, but UV is how I made the top and everything. Export UV layout. And I'm going to be T underscore pants. Oh wait, this is going to be UV for the UV layout pants. Alright, and then just for simplicity's sake, I come here and I highlight the area I'm thinking I'm going to be working on, so it'll be this right here. I can see that it's going down and everything. And I should be done with Blender for at least a little bit here. Alright, we're going to open up Krita. Did the same thing right here, actually. And that's for the jacket. So now we'll pull up my UV. That's my ponytail. Probably find it under Finder faster. UV ponytail, blah, blah, blah. Please tell me I got that exported. I put it somewhere like documents or downloads, didn't I? There we are. I'll create a new layer. And we know that it's this section right here that I'm looking at. What I'm going to do is this is the black. We're going to do D-1827. Come up here, and their SCP website actually has that they use the Basalis MD Bold BT. Let's pump this up to probably about a 24. Oh, no, going to have to be a lot bigger than that. 48. Even bigger. 72. That's probably about right. All right. We're going to rotate this down like this. And I'm going to stick it on the pants leg. There, we'll go to the paint layer. I'm going to hit the bucket. And I just happen to know that it's FFC401. Nope. Did I hit a button wrong? FFC401. Yep. Little keyboard I'm not used to. Oh, that's not the color. I swore that was the color. Texture D-Class, there we go. And we want this color right here. And we're going to paint that down. Like so. Let's go back to the text layer. Does it have the outline where I can actually remove the outline? No, it does not. It's not horrible. We're going to go ahead and keep it. File, export. We'll do T_pants. Got it. Don't need to save that. We're going to bring Unreal Engine back up. And we'll do the content browser. Come on. My little screen space, my slow computer, my glitchy mouse that probably looks fine to y'all, so I probably look retarded right now. The fact that it doesn't do half of what I ask it to do. Alright. I'm using the advanced locomotion system for this definitely in the end because it'll give me mantling. I already know how to incorporate climbing, swimming, stuff like that, so it'll be a very filled out character. Pants. Bring in the pants. And whenever they did this, they used the motorcycle jacket and stuff. It was my favorite for a D-Class. Out of the ones they shot me. So they're the ones that get used. Bring this texture in. Delete this. Eventually we'll have to generate some kind of normal maps or something to kind of give them some wrinkles, some places that stand out. Probably make these materials all fully rough. And I'll probably actually just make a single material instance for things like this, so that it uses less, just has to compile a whole bunch of shaders for one material, and then it's all done. Alright, so that should leave one of these models very well. It's this one, I believe. Done. Black shoes with white bottoms. She got her number on her pants leg. Probably need to move that up, actually. In front of her jacket, 1827 D-Class. And I'm actually not done with Blender. I needed to export her eye also. Even though it's mobile, I don't have to do a whole lot of detail. I am going to have to make sure that she just doesn't have... Where'd I go? Where'd I go? Where'd I go? There we go. Just plain black eyes. I do like that I community sourced the making of this model. I knew I wanted to make a female character because I'm working on something else, and I always just use the plain old male character. You know, it just feels weird. Typical white male picking white male character. And I was like, you know what? I want to do female character, and I want to do a minority. And so I sourced it out, and it meant I didn't get to pick the body type or anything. I just said I wanted them to be athletic enough because they're going to run, jump, swim, all that kind of stuff. You're not going to have somebody 400 pounds overweight doing that. But I actually like the build. It's like a power lifter build or a softball player build. It's still athletic, and it's built for these quick bursts of power. It's very nice. Alright, let's get back in the blender. Get that eye just kind of touched up. Probably just a green circle right wherever the eye is supposed to be so that it's not just this empty, soulless white. My experiments tell me that you don't have to do much for the eyes for a mobile game, but you have to put something other than just plain white in there. Come on. There we go. I really one day just need to decide to make everything stay on the exact same control scheme. But I've just never got around to doing it. And I constantly find myself rotating inside of Krita and panning wrong inside of, whew, he gave me high poly eyes. I probably should have told him it was for mobile. It's okay, it'll survive. I also need to stop keeping everything just in the downloads folder. But it feels like a good place to keep everything because it sort of puts stuff pretty naturally. Alright. Let's get Krita back open again. I can drop the launcher off. Don't need the browser open. Do a new layer. We'll do a circle. We're going to make it, do the black first. And we're going to make her actually have a pupil. Bloop. Gotta set that fill. It should be these tighter little circles here. Since we do have high poly, I'll probably just go ahead and do this, and that's going to be good enough for mobile. Second one, put it under that layer. I think I'm going to go with green eyes. That's a little bright. Come down somewhere like right here. And we'll go out to this. Oops. Got the. I know. People are probably going to be all sorts upset, but it's mobile. Targeted, so it's not like you're going to really see all that much there. Alright. Get rid of this background, remove layer. Go ahead and merge these down. Mobile shaders, unless they've updated them in the past like 9 months, does not handle transparencies when compressing. So to actually make that a little off-white, add just a touchy yellow. That's too much yellow. But because of that, I always try to just make everything white, stuff like that, and then use masking instead of trying to put in an alpha layer and all that junk. That's a little too green, isn't it? Wish you could actually zoom in on the color wheel. That'll probably be good. Export. Nope. Run downloads. We'll make this T eyes. Save. And how you can actually just get stuff if you already have a base mesh or whatever and you need some specific colors, export that UV map, find out by highlighting it if you need to exactly where you should draw, and then just draw over it. Substance Painter stuff works great. I have a trial. It's going to be expired by now or very close to, plus Mac. And this computer, it just was not working for me. For now, the skin's just a color that I kind of picked off the wheel. Surprisingly happy with it. Because I didn't expect it to look that good. I expected to need an actual texture. Hair. Did the same thing on the exporting map stuff. As you can see, it's just highlighted some of her different areas of the hair, hit it with a color. Teeth, just left it as the default material. Probably delete that out of the final mesh later. Eyelashes and eyebrows, use the same material, which is just black. Tongue is just plain red. Running shoes did the same thing. Probably go back and change that tongue of the shoe off of white eventually. I don't know why I'm jerking like that, but I don't care too much for this white tongue in here. I figure I need at least black where it has like a little white line in it or something. Gave her the purple shoestrings to match her hair. Just felt like it added character to the D-Class. Throw something in the story like where did she get the purple non-regulation shoes or shoestrings? Already saw the textures and stuff for the shirt and everything, so that's not special. But that's about all I've done so far. Everything else has just been importing assets or my little SCP dragons I've already made. Okay, hi Polly. Is there another eye somewhere? Nope. Why does her eyes not look like they have any color to them? Eyelashes, teeth, tongue. Does she not have an eye? I have a feeling one of these teeth is probably supposed to be her eyes. Yep, there they are. And it looks like I may have actually made a bad assumption on those eyes right there. Looks like she probably has the textures on the back. Oh, I'm sorry. Stuff is horrible. And that's exactly what happened. I got her textures. Nope. Where are they? That's not the direction I'm turning. I'm not even touching it anymore. Front. Okay. Let's see how these apply to a sphere real fast. They look a little crappy, but the eyes have a UV map on them that's different. Sorry, this Mac is super slow, and especially with the recording software going, my phone can literally handle stuff a little smoother. Alright, so we got that done. Just so everybody knows, SCP is under the Creative Commons license. You're free to create, alter, anything like that, including my whole game development stuff. If I ever finish this, I'll probably toss it all into GitHub or something as just a downloadable thing that you can compile after you make your changes and everything. It's a little iffy because this will include parts that aren't under creative license. I might have to just do all the models and stuff separate, and because we've got a whole bunch of asset packs I've already tossed in that other people have created that are available in the store, the Advanced Locomotion System. It's made by Logmeyer. I will try to remember to give you a link to his stuff. It's amazing. He's got great movement, all that kind of stuff. Start that loading, it'll start streaming all the textures in. I haven't loaded yet. If it ever gets over there, I'll show off his work a little bit. And got the animation starter pack. That's typical Unreal Engine stuff right there. Just typical fare. Oh, hey, I forgot. My robot's in this that I've been working on because I imported it from the project I was working on. We can actually get rid of that guy. He's not part of this project. Sorry. I can make that my content browser. I'm sure anybody else's system will compile 247 shaders significantly faster than I am. The animation starter pack is just basic stuff. It's free. It's got all sorts of motions, movements, line prone, stuff like that. To be honest, a lot of it probably won't even be incorporated. Bossy Enemy, I haven't actually used it yet. Mostly just animations for bossy enemies. I should be able to eliminate some of these skeletons, because the ALS skeleton is close enough to all these skeletons that we should be able to just break down onto it and keep all our animations without having to worry about retargeting any stuff like that. Everything will just be ALS skeleton. All the animations will work with that. I will have to actually weight paint the model and everything to it, but it won't be too bad. This is something I always try to do whenever I'm working with anything like this. Most of these assets can really disappear eventually. I can try to delete the character model asset and see what happens. Her skeleton, it might work. things are probably just not going to have a lot of the same names, so that's going to be the issue. But I'm all retargeting this right here by just doing that real quick and easy. It's the simplest way. Animation starter pack, we got it. Box see enemy, we got it. Box. This is just my SCP 717-62, I think it is. Globe. I'm working on an opening thing with a spinning globe. Gonna have to either redo this texture or just accept them all coming in at once. I'll probably redo them so that I can pop them in a few at a time on the spinning globe. But basically, it'll be a spinny virtual globe that will have a whole bunch of SCP logos pop up since they happen to look like little targeting rectangles. And right now I'm just toggling visibility off of a sphere that I have on top of it, which makes it real simple, but it does not like, as you can see, rendering it at certain angles because of the translucency. And that is something I'm not happy with. I'm gonna have to play with that material a whole bunch, but I want all these little circles to appear like a whole bunch of anomalies are being detected. And eventually that'll probably be like a level select screen also. I incorporated Good Sky just because this thing is gorgeous. You buy it on the marketplace. It is got all sorts of settings on it. Why reinvent the wheel? Skyboxes aren't that. I'm not pushing any buttons. There you go. They're not that complex to get a decent looking one. The engine comes with the default decent looking one. But this one has Blood Moons, it has a Dark Souls sky, it has a Desert Sky, Forest Sky, this Lightning Sky, Midnight's Days, and you can even enable the time by day and make it automatically do time. I know, a lot of people will be like, dude, you didn't do anything. Yeah, well, why reinvent the wheel? We've got this industrial pack that I was just using to set up a scene for the dragons to fly around in, but I figured it'll be used often enough. The LSS loading screen system, I was using this in Mage Hunter. They've updated it, so I'm going to have to redo so much in Mage Hunter for just this, probably. But it actually gives you a loading screen with a progress bar without having to do C++. You no longer actually have to go and plug stuff in like you used to, which is pretty significant, but yep. Got a whole bunch of little SCP dragons I made. I'm going to go in here and change this color right here so that they can get different textures. Smoke, I just made a smoke particle thing to come out of the box. Uses a UV index. Nothing too spectacular, but it's black smoke out of the box. Alright, we'll go ahead and leave that there just so I can play around with it while we're running around. Ultimate touch components. This is pretty great. It's got all the components, you can just add them in. They're pretty complex, pretty nice. It's got all the debug widgets and everything, which makes it so much easier than the default joystick for mobile that this stuff comes with. You can actually set up touch areas, you can do a little overlap, you can do the 2 hands on screen for zoom and everything, so it works real well with the spring arm. We won't be dealing with that probably today, but That'll be one of the next things I set up, is getting all the controls set up. I'll set it up for an Xbox control. I'll probably leave the default hand controls in there. Cut out all that stuff, of course. I don't like this over-the-shoulder stuff too much. Why am I not moving? I'm broken. We'll have to wait for all those shaders to be done, it looks like. Alright, let's bring up the software real fast. Everybody does not need to see inside my Google Drive, but I'm going to pull down some animations from a tutorial I once did. I'll give you a link to it if you just want to add climbing to the ALS. Probably not enough, because there are some fancy stuff you have to do to make it work inside the ALS. I will definitely show when I do it. Okay. We're going to go ahead and get these guys into our animation stuff. We have jumping down, getting up, climb. Gonna have to go find some other stuff because it looks like I didn't get it all. But I'll include a link in that part. I'll probably, in this whole section, actually include the little thing up at the top so you can go there, all that stuff. That is by Model Design. And it was a great tutorial. It works wonderfully. You probably hear this horrible music going on right now. No, it's great. It's actually pretty good. Oh, he moved his files to a mega. They were not originally a mega. And I'm getting all sorts of pop-ups and stuff. Okay, there we go. We'll download these guys. Alright. And Google Drive is being super slow. Display capture back on. Okay. And downloads file. It should be down here somewhere. Animations. Here we go. He's actually added other stuff since then, where you can do a vault backwards onto a different platform, that kind of stuff. You got to go to like video 4 to get that. But yeah, animation starter pack. Just create a new folder so that I can find them pretty easy whenever we want them. Will it let me? No, of course not. With an archer. This thing will actually put them. There we go. Why are you not giving me my import button? What's wrong with you in the settings? with the WinArchiver. That's right, each one of his things is actually in a different thing. I'm going to choose the ALS skeleton for each one of these. It should be fine because it does have all the same basic bones and stuff. As you see, you've got the hanging idle, the crouch to stand, which is whenever in the climb, whenever you climb up on it. Got some vaulting stuff here, some getting ups. Probably replace like this climb with this getting up. Jump down from a wall whenever you hit an edge. I'll probably get that in. I've already got a vault that is incorporated in the ALS. But those guys are all there. Alright, let's see if it'll let me actually do this stuff now. And it is still not acting right. I know why. I don't have any of the control stuff set up. But that's okay. Alright, so doing with the ALS based character like this, after you clean up all your stuff, oh, widget, this is a widget I'm working on for just doing a close and open and all that kind of stuff on the scenes. Like whenever I start kind of showing it off, because it's going to fade in, bring up that it's from the archives, that it's highly classified, that it's 1827, and that it'll come eventually for Android, and that's it. I did this by just putting these things in, dropping them down, boom, 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 add a border, fill it with an overlay. You come down to your track, add an animation, name it, add the track, add in each one of the items, see brush color on the border, and just changing the alpha and putting it on a timeline, hit the key button. Took me a couple tries to get it where I wanted. It was a little too fast. Over on the graph, once you've created an animation, you should just actually have it here, drag it out, play animation. As soon as the thing is constructed, it starts playing. At this point, I might slow it down a little bit even just because it builds dramatics. Got this annoying siren sound. Oh, there's the font. You just drag the font file in, it'll ask if you want to import it to the engine, and you're done. Should have this annoying sound. I got it off of freesound.com, royalty-free sounds. Futuristic alarm. Probably be used a little bit. This color curve ended up not being used at all. And for the material on this globe, this was kind of fun to set up. Nothing too spectacular. But took the texture of a globe just off of Google. Globe UV sphere texture. It's not a perfect one. For the UV sphere, you can see it sometimes when this thing's spinning, you can see a little crease in there. Looks like I got a lot of this stuff kind of set right. The transparencies don't work real well. You can see that you can actually see like Africa over there through the sphere really well, but then when you get around to it, depending on your angle, it almost vanishes. But then I took a grid, and the lines were too big and everything at first. So we dropped in texture coordinates because they do save a little bit of processing power when you're developing something on mobile to actually use them. I got the texture sample there. Gave it an emissive, which I made a parameter so that I could actually, with the material, alter it, put it in, and then the opacity is just a basic opacity that I can scale to change this whole thing. Multiplied the grid paneling by 2 on both UV stuff so that it would actually be smaller and show up more on there. Gave it a neon greenish color and gave it a multiplier for emissive so I could change it. And I plugged both of these into the base color and emissive of the material. Opacity parameters just stuck in opacity. It's not clean, it's not the best setup, like where they are and stuff, but it worked. As I might actually turn that into a level select something someday. That'll be a bit of an issue. Alright, so we're going to go into project settings and we're going to tweak a few of the things right now. Alright, maps and modules. Alright, the level globe default map, I can just turn that really easy into your level select, all that kind of stuff. But since we're going to be working on characters later, that's fine. Got to delete most of these things eventually. These things are ugly and messy. It's nice that everybody gives you a demo, but I don't need this many. ALS demo level. Perfect level for just trying stuff out already, so no reason to make one. I think for movies, packaging, use PAK file, generate chunks, project, build, set it to always right now. I like to keep it set on shipping, just because that's the one. Hit the button for distribution anytime I build it. Navigation inclusive, includes all of them. It's pretty significant change in performance and everything. Include prerequisite installer, include project generation. Alright, all that stuff stays there. Supported platforms. We're going to knock it off all platforms. Right now, we'll leave it on Windows. We'll do 32-bit and Android. You know what? Go ahead and hit iOS because that'll be the thing. Mobile tablet, scalable 2D or 3D. Asset manager shouldn't have anything there, nothing there. Factions, I'll eventually have to make some factions. I've never really quite got this down, but we'll do 2 factions. Alright, and adding towards itself, we got the SCP faction. You know what? 3 factions. Okay. Towards other, neutral. Icon, we don't need info asset. I've never quite figured that out. Alright. And then this one will be, we'll do D-Class personnel as a faction. We're going to make them neutral because they are going to just be so worn out, tired, all that kind of stuff. Got that one. And default value exists. Oh. Info asset, I'll actually have to create a new asset. Faction info, but we've got those. Default, this will be SCP. This will be D-Class. Let's see if I can create a new one yet. And then this one will actually be anomalies, anom. Alright, the anomalies, anom, will be default hostile to, or neutral to itself, hostile to others. I've never actually finished playing with this, so Y'all watch me struggle through that thing right there for a while. AI system, no changes. Animation, no changes. Collision, no changes. New object channel. No, wait, cancel. New trace channel. It's going to be climbing. Trace, I'm going to need that later. Prerequisite, it'll block, accept. So we got that there. Trying to think of any other channels I might need. We'll go ahead and make a swimming. Probably have to change that default channel right there. Can't think of anything I need for object channels. But reminds me, I bring up my Epic Games launcher. I'll go get the rest of all those animations for the climbing stuff eventually. Those will probably be the first things I actually incorporate, will be a lot of the climbing. I think climbing system I tried to incorporate in here didn't actually go in. It does ladders and some little cool rock formations and stuff. It's definitely enough for mobile. Logmire, the guy that makes this ALS, actually has some videos if you find them about some. Yeah, so I need to reincorporate that and the swim pack that I want to use. Go over here to my library. I've been doing this for a while. I missed 9 months of free assets. So even with all this, like if you want to get into development, if you take time to actually play with these assets and take them apart, you'll learn stuff. I've taken so many of them apart, learned how to redo them, that on some of my stuff, they're like, it's just assets off the store. And I'm like, no, that was completely made by me. I just know how to make assets that look exactly like the ones off the store because I've done it so many times. It's not a vehicle movement component. We might incorporate that though, because let's face it, that tank actually looks kind of interesting. Oh, it's already. Oh yeah, it's already in there and installed. Might have to go find me some vehicles, some tanks and stuff. Not okay. Let's get the swimming stuff out of the way. Swimming animation set. We'll get this added to SCP D-Class. Those are pretty easy to set up, really. And then it's like advanced movement or something like that. It's custom movement. That's what it is. Oh, I've got to actually create a project. Did I already create it? No, I did not. All right. For some of these things, you actually have to create the whole project. Not a huge deal, but a little pain in the butt because you can't just drop it into what you have. Creates the project. My older system is a little nicer because it can handle 2 engines running at once. We're about to drop that in there. We're going to get really slow because it's going to freeze at like 10% as it does all the shaders and stuff. Oh, nope, it went right through that. Alright, I don't need that anymore. I don't need this anymore. Don't need this anymore. Instead, I don't need you. It's going to give me this flag that Unreal Launcher quit unexpectedly. Oh, nope, it'll just reopen it. There it goes. Ignore. Okay. If anybody wants to buy me any kind of computer, I'd really appreciate it. Alright, so window, content browser. I'll keep it off the bottom just so I have a bigger workspace right here. My dream is to have multiple screens so I can just keep a content browser open somewhere. Alright, see, it's just a single file. Can't just move this stuff around without it breaking, which is my problem with Mage Hunter right now. But we're going to migrate this over into the SCP thing and then just delete this project. I'm probably about to have to go on a dog walk right now because my dog just came down and... Did you just wake up? Did you just wake up? Hmm? Hmm? Oh, you need petted that bad? You need pet that bad? There you go, buddy. There you go. There you go. Drop it in the content browser. There we go. Man. Come here, Chip. Hey, buddy. There we go. Oh. I don't have any green screen or anything. Plus, I haven't showered or anything, so it's just not going to show me. But you got to see the doggo. Hey. You want to go for a walk? Okay. That is a long enough video for today, I think. I'll clean up some of those files, won't do anything special, and then we'll start incorporating climbs and all that kind of stuff into the ALS. Get the swim in there, and I might have to go get the reactive water pack. It's a little much for mobile, but by the time I finish a project, it'll probably be easy for it to handle. So see you next time.